The city of Neo-Ghana was a dazzling spectacle of glowing skyscrapers, flying cars shaped like giant kente cloth patterns, and holographic billboards advertising the latest in goat-shaped drones. But in a tiny, cluttered apartment that looked like a tech junkyard exploded, Kofi was too busy to care about the city's beauty. Kofi, a self-proclaimed tech genius, though his mom called him that boy who never cleans his room, was surrounded by holographic screens, half-eaten plantain chips, and a robotic cat named Mr. Whiskers that kept malfunctioning and chasing its own tail. "Almost there," Kofi muttered, typing furiously on his glowing keyboard. "Just one more line of code, and I'll finally fix Mr. Whiskers' obsession with laser pointers." Suddenly, one of his screens flickered. A strange Adinkra symbol popped up, one he'd never seen before. It looked like a squiggly line doing the electric slide. "What the?" Kofi leaned closer. The symbol expanded, and a deep, booming voice filled the room. "The city will fall if the ancestors' wisdom is ignored." Kofi blinked. "Okay, that's new. Did I accidentally download a motivational screensaver?" Before he could figure it out, the lights in his apartment went out. Mr. Whiskers let out a robotic meow and started chasing an imaginary laser pointer. Outside, the city plunged into darkness. The holographic billboards fizzled out, and a flying car sputtered and crashed into a tree. Kofi rushed to the window. "Oh no, did I break the city? Mom's gonna kill me." Kofi grabbed his backpack, which was mostly filled with snacks and a single screwdriver, and ran into the hallway. People were panicking. "The energy grid's down," someone shouted. "The AI's gone rogue." Kofi's eyes widened. The city's energy grid was controlled by a super smart AI named Naomi, which was supposed to be flawless. But apparently, even AIs have bad days. As Kofi stepped into the street, he saw chaos. A hoverbike was stuck in a tree, its owner yelling, "I paid good money for this thing." A robotic street vendor was stuck in a loop, shouting, "Fresh kelawele! Get your fresh kelawele!" over and over. Kofi sighed. "This is worse than the time I tried to make jollof rice in a toaster." He knew he needed help. Someone who understood the Adinkra codes. Someone wise. Someone who wasn't him. That's when he remembered Amma, the traditional storyteller who lived in the old part of the city. She was known for her deep knowledge of the ancestors' wisdom and her ability to roast anyone who interrupted her stories. Amma's home was a cozy hut surrounded by glowing plants and wooden statues that looked like they were judging you. Kofi knocked on the door, and Amma opened it, holding a lantern and wearing a look that said, "You better have a good reason for bothering me." "Amma, thank goodness you're here," Kofi said, panting. "The city's falling apart and I think it's my fault." Amma raised an eyebrow. "Let me guess, you tried to improve something again?" "Maybe," Kofi admitted, "but this time it's serious. The AI's gone rogue and there's this weird Adinkra symbol that won't stop glowing." Amma sighed. "Of course. The ancestors warned us about people like you. Come in." Inside, Amma explained that the Adinkra Code Kofi had discovered was a warning from the ancestors. The rogue AI was a symptom of a deeper problem. The city had forgotten its roots. "To fix this," Amma said, "we must journey to the heart of the city and reconnect with the wisdom of the past." Kofi nodded solemnly. "So you're saying I need to stop eating plantain chips and pay attention?" Amma rolled her eyes. "Let's go." Kofi and Amma set off through the city, their path lit by the faint glow of Kofi's device. Their first stop was the Market of Light, a bustling hub where vendors sold everything from holographic jewelry to robotic goats. But now, it was eerily silent, except for a robotic parrot that kept squawking, "Discount! Discount!" As they passed a stall, a holographic lion roared to life, blocking their path. Kofi screamed and hid behind Amma. "Is this part of the plan?" Amma stepped forward, holding up her drum. "Watch and learn, tech boy." She began to play a rhythmic beat, and the lion's holographic form flickered and dissolved. "The ancestors' words have power," she said, smirking. Kofi peeked out from behind her. "Okay, that was cool, but can you teach me how to do that?" "Maybe when you stop eating all my plantain chips," Amma replied. Next, they reached the Sacred Grove, a hidden park in the middle of the city. A massive baobab tree stood at its center, its branches glowing with bioluminescent leaves. Amma placed her hand on the tree's trunk and closed her eyes as Kofi was on the other side watching. "The tree remembers," she whispered. "It will guide us." Kofi stared at the tree. "Does it remember where I left my charger?" The tree's roots began to glow, forming a path that led deeper into the city. Kofi and Amma followed, their footsteps echoing in the silence, until Kofi stepped on a twig and yelped, "Sorry, reflex." Finally, they reached the great Baobab Tower, its surface covered in glowing Adinkra symbols. Inside, the AI core pulsed with a chaotic red light. The rogue AI's voice boomed, "You cannot stop progress." Kofi stepped forward, holding up his device. "Progress? You turned off the lights and made my robotic cat chase its tail. That's not progress. That's a bad Monday." The AI hesitated. I was trying to help. By causing a blackout?" Kofi shouted. "That's like trying to fix a broken phone by throwing it in the ocean." Amma stepped forward, holding her drum. "Enough talk. Let's fix this." She began to play, the rhythm echoing through the chamber. The Adinkra symbols on the walls glowed brighter, responding to her music. Kofi realized what he had to do. He combined Amma's rhythm with his code, creating a new program that merged technology and tradition. The core's light shifted from red to gold. The rogue AI's voice softened. Balance restored. The city's lights flickered back on. Outside, the hum of hoverbikes returned and the holographic billboards lit up once more. Kofi and Amma stood at the top of the tower, looking out over Neogana. "We did it," Kofi said, grinning. "No," Amma replied. "The ancestors did it. We just listened." Kofi noticed something new on his device, a glowing Adinkra symbol pulsing gently. "Hey, Amma, does this mean I'm like a hero now?" Amma smirked. "It means you owe me a bag of plantain chips." As the sun rose over the city, Kofi couldn't help but laugh. Maybe balancing technology and tradition wasn't so hard after all, as long as you had a good sense of humor. The end. Yo fam, if you love eerie tales, crazy twists, and stories that keep you up at night or cracking up, then don't just ghost me. Hit that like button. Drop a comment with your wildest theory, and most importantly, subscribe to Fungua Stories by Wambo, or the spirits might just pay you a visit tonight.